Welcome back. We're your hosts, Brittany and Ed, and this is the 24-Hour Show.
3, 2, 1, we are live. What's good, guys? Welcome back to the show. We appreciate you guys. Big love to all my retail hood traders out there.
Thank you for joining us, especially those who are maybe not invested yet.
And we are shockingly at 48.35. It seemed like it was just yesterday. We were celebrating 66.
I swear we were normalizing 62 like just hours ago. It feels like that dip is not the kind of dip I like to see.
The dip keeps dipping, and there's no reason why. There was great news that came out for Robinhood today.
Yeah, we're celebrating, but we're kind of confused why the market is not celebrating with us.
Yeah, last week Coinbase had their lawsuit dropped by the SEC.
Congrats to Coinbase and Brian Armstrong.
And that was great news for Robinhood as well. This week, SEC has dropped their case with Robinhood. So
confetti.
Let's start. Do we need the confetti?
I think we might.
No, we can. Let me see. Do I even have?
Do we have a little celebration queued up?
Oh, they don't make it easy to get there now.
Gotta work for it. Woo! We're free.
We like to beat the case, whatever it is against us, we like to beat the case. Vlad had a nice little post on it. The SEC's closing its investigation into Robinhood crypto. It's a win for justice and the rule of law. Now it's time to focus on pro-innovation policies that unlock the full potential of digital assets in America. I mean, it only cost us $2 million to get our SEC case thrown out.
So. Great response. Concise, straight to the point, and just ready to continue innovating.
Job's not finished. Job's not finished. So, should we get into the video, or did you want to read some of the article?
I'll just skim through the article really quickly.
Okay,
we can link it so everybody can go in depth on it.
Yeah, let me pull it up. Boom. Okay, cool.
Okay, we applaud the staff's decision to close this investigation with no action, said Dan Gallagher, Chief Legal Compliance and Corporate Affairs Officer of Robinhood Markets Incorporated. Let me be crystal clear. This investigation never should have been open. Robinhood Crypto has always and will always respect federal securities laws and never be allowed transactions in securities. As we explained to the SEC, any case against Robinhood Crypto would have failed. We appreciate the formal closing.
Hold on. Any case against Robinhood Crypto would have failed. It does not matter who was in the administration. It did not matter who's against us. It would have failed because we thrive in regulation. One of the few crypto companies that do thrive with regulation. So
yeah, that was a point.
Sorry
that was a point.
But he's over here not saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you guys so much. We're just gonna go on peace."
He said, "That's your bad. Don't let it happen again.
Don't let that."
We appreciate the formal closing of this investigation. We are happy to see a return to the rule of law and commitment to fairness at the SEC. Wow, they're putting people on notice. Hey, return to the law.
Instead of regulation by enforcement, it's time for the SEC to turn to regulation by regulation. Regulators!
Providing market participants with clarity and an appropriate regulatory framework for digital assets. And as for Robinhood, we'll continue on as we've always done, innovating with products and services for our customers.
This reminds me of like some Dragon Ball Z stuff where it's like the SEC is like your ankle weights and he just like dropped these off. And we're about to be running at full speed now. This makes sense to me because one, like you said, it's a rule for that. It's a good win for crypto. It's a great win for just the law in general because you deserve regulation, clarity. You deserve to be enforced by enforced by clarity instead of like all the hoops and stuff they made us jump through. But it's a win all around, and then at the end of the day, Robinhood can get back to what they're known for, which is delivering great products. So
absolutely, and I also see, even if you're not maybe immersed in the crypto scape or really care about blockchain tech, I think this is just a win for all emerging indices right now. We have AI coming. There's just so much that does not have regulatory clearance that this
you'll stifle growth if you don't
exactly.
put out the
So
right
this
stuff.
is a win for future innovators, future industries that are coming to be in this 21st century. We love to see it, and I genuinely hope that this is just a step in the right direction, and that this kind of behavior continues.
Yeah, this is great. We'll go ahead. Let's see what they had to say about it on CNBC.
Got some breaking news right now from Robinhood. Want to get straight over to Kate Rooney, who joins us this morning.
Breaking news.
Andrew, good morning. So the SEC is now dropping its investigation into Robinhood over its cryptocurrency business. The brokerage firm just saying that the agency sent a letter last week explaining that it had concluded its investigation and does not intend to move forward with an enforcement action. This does follow a Wells notice that was sent to the trading firm in May of last year. Those typically inform a company or a person that they are under investigation, and they tend to come before a lawsuit. Robinhood's chief legal officer, Dan Gallagher, who was also a former SEC commissioner.
Yo, they were handing out Wells notices like candy last year, man. Everybody got a Wells notice. It was like
you get a Wells notice, you get a Wells notice.
You weren't an innovative crypto company, or you weren't even a top dog in crypto if you weren't getting a Wells notice at this time. So this was a badge of honor when these guys were getting their Wells notice.
I have to agree. Once Gary Gensler started coming after companies, we were like, okay, Binance, you're legit. Hood, you're legit. Coinbase, Kraken, all of the victims.
Yeah, let's go ahead and finish this video.
Saying in a statement this morning that, quote, we applaud the staff's decision to close this investigation with no action. And he says this investigation never should have been opened. Robinhood Crypto, he says, always has, always will respect federal securities laws and never allowed transactions in securities. He also goes on to say, as we explained to the SEC, any case against Robinhood Crypto would have failed. He says we appreciate the formal closing of this investigation, and we are happy to see a return to the rule of law and commitment to fairness at the SEC. This is, guys, the latest win for major cryptocurrency companies in this new administration. Many backed Trump's campaigns, and you're seeing...
And how do they freaking reward us?
48 close.
In a lighter regulatory touch here, companies had pretty tense relationship, to put it lightly, with the former SEC chair under Biden, Gary Gensler. Many complained of what they called regulation by enforcement instead of the agency setting any type of clear rules or guidelines. It does follow the big news, guys, last week with the SEC dropping its lawsuit against Coinbase. I know Brian Armstrong talked about that with you guys. Crypto, it's becoming a bigger part of Robinhood's business as well. Crypto transactions were up about 700% when they last reported for the fourth quarter, at least. It was a huge driver of revenue in that quarter. Stock, last I checked, was up slightly, almost 3% pre-market, guys. Back to you.
Kate, so here's the complication, and I'm curious how you think about it. On one side, it may very well be that these enforcement cases and investigations were wrong-headed to begin with. That may be.
They were.
I have no idea.
You
right?
do.
And then on the other side, we're seeing that most of the crypto industry spent an extraordinary amount of money to get this new administration into office, which is now dropping these cases. And so there's sort of this very interesting question about the credibility, both of the initial decisions and what drove those, but also these decisions and what is driving them.
That's key context here. I mean, it's Coinbase especially. I think Robinhood was less active on the lobbying side, but Coinbase led this charge really against the former SEC. I mean, Gary Gensler really became an enemy of this entire industry. So I think there was also sort of this grassroots individual investor animosity towards the agency, which I think the Trump White House has sort of picked up on, not only from a fundraising perspective. You could see it as pay to play, and I think that would sort of raise eyebrows. But at the same time, I think there was this sentiment among individual retail investors that, call them securities or not, want access to these more speculative assets, meme coins in some cases, and they want their brokerage platform, Robinhood in this case, to be able to list them. So I think there is also the big picture political stuff, but a little bit of a grassroots sentiment side of this that is also worth taking a look at. Their big thing was, are these securities or not? And that rule goes back almost 100 years. So they were sort of fighting over this SEC rule that none of us ever think that much about, the Howey test. But it's a big win for this industry, regardless of the political landscape. They spent the money, and you're seeing it pay off, a month or so into this new administration.
All right, you know what?
W's in the chat.
Pull up the Howey test. Pull the Howie test.
Let's see what do we have for the Howie test.
See what the Howie got us on. It gotta be oh, you pulled up the whole thing.
Let's see.
Oh, she got the official.
Okay, so the Howie test, the 4 elements of the Howie test consists of an investment of money, expectation of profits, common enterprise, and reliance on the efforts of others. What is the Howie test?
Hold on. There's a 5th hidden one that's not on here. There's a 5th hidden one, and it's.
Oh, give it to me.
Do they care? That's the 5th one. Is like you can actually not pass all of these, and if the SEC doesn't care or think you're a big enough fish to go after, they're not even.
It's not lucrative for them. Yeah.
Yeah, your NFT project only sold 1,000 tokens out of 10,000. It's like he don't care about you. You're not the one. Like it's your project when you're on DeFi and there's billions of dollars going into you, or you're basically rugging a community.
Or enough people are complaining.
Yeah, you're rugging a community of millions of dollars because of deception and stuff. Like that's when they care. So you can actually fail the Howie test or pass the Howie test, however you look at it. But if that 5th one doesn't come into play where they actually care, then it wouldn't even come into play. You wouldn't even get to do the Howie test because the 5th one you don't matter. You're too big, too small.
So this is the test that they use to see if this asset qualifies as asset
qualifies is assifies.
If the investment contract, if it's an investment contract, so that is great. It's a massive win for us, and I hope that the streets recognize it soon. It seems like all of the retail investors that we're familiar with, they're just rallying around the stock. So hopefully the analysts get some good from us soon.
Yeah, let's see. I think we had a video from Steve Kirk last week when everything was pretty good. It wasn't as bad as it is right now. Let's go ahead and watch that before.
I'm getting whiplash. How quickly things are changing.
Yeah, this is crazy. We'll be back. We'll be back in no time. So
buy the dip.
So Steve, we're now 1 month into Trump's presidency. How have you seen retail investors change up their positions based on policy and what we've been hearing out of DC?
Oh, first of all, thanks for having me. Yeah, we've seen our customers immediately following the election, try and take advantage of what they saw as opportunities to add to portfolio, or remove some of the stocks in their portfolios based on their interpretation of what it would mean. So, obviously we've seen a pretty big bump in some names like Tesla and Nvidia and others, and in the cryptocurrency space as well. And as a result, our customers have sort of taken that ride and they're rotating. We tend to see a behavior where when they've had appreciable gains, they will take some of those gains off and then look for other names that maybe haven't participated in the rally to add to their portfolio. I think the one other element that's been most interesting is not only what they're doing, but when they're doing it. So a lot of, we give customers the ability to trade over 900 securities around the clock, 5 days a week.
24
and a lot
hours.
of this market moving news, like the tariff news, happens when the primary market is closed. So we've seen a big growth in people trading when market moving news is happening.
That's really interesting, Steve. It's Julie here. It's good to see you. So I have a couple of follow-up questions for you. On that
nice to see you.
Good to see you. On that.
He's so polite.
He is. I love his energy.
I do have to just say there, though, it's unbelievable that this 24 hours thing happens sometimes, because you get earnings after hours, you get news on the weekends, and you're able to execute this news on a Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and you're able to also execute this news Sunday through Thursday, 24 hours around that clock. So that's just been game changing when you think that things have tapped out, and then in after hours something falls a little more, you're able to like take advantage of a situation that when the markets are open will not be there. So
Absolutely. In the antiquated system, the days of old, we had to wait. I mean, if you had some information, you had to wait until the markets allowed for you to make a move on that information.
and then you were already late because you had to
Yeah.
be, you had to literally be there in that.
So without insider trading, I mean, what can you do? But this really feels like predictive markets are gonna really help propel us forward in that as well. So this 24-hour market with the predictive markets, exciting times ahead for investors.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see. We can finish this one real quick.
Last point. The regular markets, right? It seems like professionals are sort of shrugging off a lot of the tariff noise. It seems like they see it as noise. But what you're saying implies that there is more of a reactivity among retail traders. Is that fair to say?
No.
It's fair. I wouldn't say there's more reactivity. What I would say is sometimes when the news first hits, there tends to be a bit of an overreaction. And like in the case of tariffs, that overreaction was an opportunity for people to add names that they thought would be attractive at levels that they didn't think they'd be able to get them. And as you pointed out, as soon as the day session came around, some of those names were back to the levels that they previously were at. So I think that tends to happen with news in general. When it first hits, everybody has to digest it. So there tends to be a little bit more anxiety with the moves that happen. And if it's an opportune time, if you're looking to add to a portfolio.
And Steve, I guess the other question I would ask about the rotation you were asking about, and again, the sort of differences you might be seeing in between retail traders and professional investors. We have seen the much discussed broadening start to actually happen in the market, right? Where we have seen, yes, big cap tech is doing okay, but kind of underperforming writ large. But then financials have been gaining some steam. Walmart until today gaining some steam. Are you seeing those kinds of similar trades amongst your users?
We are, there's still a core group of names that constitute many of the portfolios of our retail customers, but they also are adding to that and hoping and looking for that to broaden out. And it's widely anticipated that if we want to see this market continue to rally, we're going to have to see some growth in the number of names that are carrying it, if you will.
And Steve, we've seen some short selling action to kick off the year. What are you looking at when you think about some of those more meme stock like names?
When we look at what our customers do, they typically have their core portfolio. And then they'll look at names that tend to have a little bit more volatility or become either depressed or might run up. And they'll try and take advantage of the shorter term moves. But the core of what they do is sort of that portfolio. And then this is what I'd call the things that they do around the edges. And those tend to have more exaggerated moves or be a little more volatile.
Steve, good to see you. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Yep, that was Steve Kirk's pretty cool. He has some insight here. I think we'll go ahead. We can end the show there. But overall, good news wasn't good news today. We got good news, and the market punished us for some reason.
The market just hasn't realized the good news yet. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but if you believe Robinhood is a company to invest into 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road, generational, I'm not going to sell any of these shares. So we're holding out. We obviously know we have accounts with an average of $16 and some with 30. So this dip isn't really anything to flinch, and we'll be buying more probably this week as stuff goes by. Again, look out for March. Bunch of gold products will probably be announced in March for that event.
Oh yeah, buy this dip, guys.
So
eat it up.
How long can we have this dip for? Really? I don't know. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys follow Brittany on X at Britty's Bliss.
And Ed Money's at Ed Money's. And of course, let us know, are you buying, holding, just watching, appreciating us? Let us know what you're doing. Are you just watching and hoping for some good news?
I felt a little deflated. Bought the dip. It kept dipping. Bought the dip. It kept dipping. I'm gonna chill for a minute.
Yeah.
Maybe do some more cash secure puts. I did have some covered calls that I was very happy. That's the thing, is you're doing covered calls. You're not happy that Hood's dipping, but you know, you're able to make some money while it's dipping, which is always good. So, you know, use your portfolio.
Market goes up, down, sideways. You can always make some money.
We'll see you guys next time.
Goodbye.